Who would win, Dewey, Brick, or Sheldon? Walking.
Hello YouTube. Today I am quitting YouTube forever. Just kidding. This video is going to be posted on April 1st, and if you fell for that, that's on you. This was posted at 4:05 p.m. You've had like all day to learn not to fall for things. Recently online, I've been seeing a lot of debate, a lot of philosophical ideas on my For You page. And what is more philosophical than Dewey versus Brick versus young Sheldon, all battling to the death?
Gotta be Sheldon, right? He'd probably be like the weakest, but he's the smartest. He could probably outsmart his opponents. Probably figure out some kind of weapon, some kind of attack measure that would go against him. So I mean, I think Sheldon. That's my prediction.
1v1 cage fight. So today, I will be figuring out once and for all who would win in a fight. Dewey, Brick, or young Sheldon. I will be dividing these into categories such as strength, IQ, talent, speed, durability, and
Sheldon
finally,
got the IQ,
Riz.
100%.
While studying for this video, I have watched the entirety of Young Sheldon, every single episode. I've watched like half of the first season of Big Bang Theory, but we're not going to be counting any of that. I have watched all the way to season 7, episode 13 of Malcolm in the Middle to prepare for this video. Now, you're probably going to be asking, okay, but what about Brick? Nobody likes Brick. Nobody likes the middle. I couldn't force myself to watch it, I'm sorry. So everything about the middle will be coming straight from Google, so if it's wrong, blame Google. The first category we're going to be judging is the physical strength of everybody. Starting off with Dewey. Dewey, he grew up in a household of how many brothers? He had Francis, Malcolm, Reese, and Jamie. He had 4 brothers. That's a lot of brothers. You can see him in the show get roughed around a lot between the brothers because, well, he's the youngest other than Jamie, but he was introduced in the later seasons. I picked this clip specifically to judge Dewey's strength because you can see that he's pretty strong in this clip. I mean, he utilizes weapons. He uses a brick and a purse. So he's very crafty, created his own weapon.
And Dewey's kind of smart though. Now I'm thinking about it. He has a little strength to him. He's a little smart. Sheldon, he got the smart 100%, but I feel like he might be the weakest. Might be the weakest link. But if they have like weapons, that kind of thing, I think Sheldon might be on top.
And he slings it around, and he ends up winning against multiple attackers, which are older, bigger, and stronger than him. So I would say that this means Dewey's pretty strong. Brick and Sheldon, they're more fragile. They come from nicer homes. Young Sheldon, his brother, doesn't really physically pick on him a lot, and his sister is just mean verbally. And the middle, from what I've seen, they all seem to pretty much get along. For young Sheldon, I picked this scene. I picked this scene because, well, he's utilizing weapons a lot like Dewey. He created his own slingshot out of science goggles.
What I remember though, it doesn't work. He's smart with weapons, but it doesn't work out. So I mean,
I forgot what they were called. Are they just called science goggles? And a pebble. Now, if you watch this fight all the way through, he doesn't win the fight. He is obviously fighting someone who's bigger and older, just like Dewey, but the age gap is probably a lot more. You can see that after the attack, it did leave a mark on the person, which with Dewey, we didn't see any physical abrasions or marks on the people. That could just be because he hit them where they were wearing clothing, like in their stomachs and stuff. Now, for Brick, he doesn't really get into any fights that I know of.
Brick's the worst. Brick ain't getting nothing. He'd lose all both.
Like I said, he's a softer kind of guy, and he didn't grow up in the 80s like Sheldon. But when reading the transcript from the last episode of The Middle, you can see that Axel is surprised at I almost said Dewey twice, at Brick's superhuman strength. He allegedly picked up boxes and moved them full of things, which isn't as cool as fighting someone off, like multiple attackers that are older and bigger and stronger than you, or creating your own weapon with, like, science goggles. But it's pretty much the only thing he has in the strength department. Moving on to IQ. IQ, the test of intelligence. Dewey is obviously related to Malcolm. He's the second smartest in the family, and according to Google, he has an estimated IQ of 140 to 150. Which is a lot. It's like almost as much as Malcolm's, but just a little bit less. He often misleads and manipulates people. That's kind of his way of outsmarting people. However, he is no match to the young genius, Mr. Young Sheldon. Mr. Young Sheldon is a genius. He has an IQ of 187. He graduated college at 14.
No, I think Sheldon could have a chance, but now that he's mentioned it, I think Dewey's probably gonna win. Brick, he has no chance. He would get demolished in both these fights. Dewey though, he got the smarts. He's a little strong, you know. He might be able to take him on.
Which, I mean, not to brag or anything, but I started college at 14, so I'm like half Sheldon. He disproved a NASA theory while he was like 8 years old, I think, so he's pretty darn smart. Brick doesn't really have a stated IQ anywhere on Google or in the show, I think. But we can see that he's a bookworm. He knows random stuff, and in this clip, he even opened up a stand where people could ask him questions, and he would just know it. So I would say that his IQ, while it probably isn't as much as Sheldon, it's still pretty high. Maybe Dewey or Dewey-ish. Now, talent. What is life without talent? Dewey is a musical genius, and he even made his own piano out of household items in this episode. In the cold open to this episode, you can see him messing around with glass, and he picks out the perfect pitches and fills the containers with water. That way he could play music with them. Now, it is not stated directly anywhere, but I would say that this is a pretty good indication that he has perfect pitch or something similar like that. Earlier in the show, he actually wrote his own opera, music and all. He sang for his school as Abraham Lincoln. Now, Mr. Young Sheldon.
Okay, I don't know if him having perfect pitch is gonna help him in the fight, but I mean, at least he's a little smart being able to do measurements like that. I mean, besides that, I don't think that really counts for anything.
He's confirmed to have perfect pitch, so unlike Dewey, it's not a mystery. We know he has it. And he even performed as Annie in the school musical, which, you know, it's not a good way to use the talent, so I'm going to say he's a little less than Dewey. Brick's biggest talent is, you know, probably his ability to read above grade level, which, you know, pretty much everybody does if you just pay attention in school. And young Sheldon, he does that regularly. He reads college books at 14. He reads, like, I think he was reading quantum physics books. We know that Sheldon outdoes Brick in the reading above grade level thing, so his talent's kind of useless. I would like to point out that all three of them have a great recall ability. Like, Brick from the middle, he has the stand, like I mentioned earlier, where you can ask him something and he'll just know it off the top of his head. Dewey, whenever he's in the classroom.
Well, him mentioned that. Sheldon had that thing where he could tell the brisket recipe years and years after when he was still a baby. So, I mean, his, like, memory is a lot better than Dewey's, I would think.
With his friends, they ask him how sound works with motorcycles, and he explains something from, like, years ago that his brother told him, and he remembers it word for word, and he understands it. And from young Sheldon, he remembers... Yeah. Now, we are moving on to the physical speed of these three characters. This is going to take a lot of math. I'm going to start feeling like these smart characters in here in a second. So just lock in with me, and we will try to figure this out. I found this clip on YouTube of young Sheldon running on a football field. Each line is a yard, and we can see that he runs 1 yard every 2 seconds, or half yard per second, which is equal to 1.02273 miles per.
No, he's not very fast. I mean, compared to the rest of them, I don't think any of them are gonna be very fast. They're all like little kids, so I would assume they're both all gonna be slow. But still, I think Brick's gonna be the worst, no matter what.
Per hour. Brick is around 4 feet tall, according to Google, and the average sandboxes are 6 foot by 6 or 8 foot by 8. Based on Brick's size, we can say that the box in this clip is 6 by 6 feet. Using this as a reference, you know, it takes Brick 2 seconds to walk 6 by 6 feet across the sandbox. This is equivalent to 2.05 miles an hour. Of course, this is going to be approximate because, well, he didn't walk directly across the sandbox. In Season 1, Episode 7 of Malcolm in the Middle, here is where we get into a lot of the math. In Season 1, Episode 7 of Malcolm in the Middle, Hal, the dad, he takes Reese, Malcolm, and Dewey to the racetrack, to specifically Irwindale Speedway, which is now closed. The finish line is about 660 feet long here. There are 9 equal boxes across the finish line, which means each box is 73 feet top to bottom. Now this is where Google lied to me, because just look at that. There's no way that that is true. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to calculate Dewey's height, kind of like what we did with Brick. Dewey's height, unlike Brick, is not listed on Google or on the wiki anywhere, so I'm going to have to find it myself. We can look at this clip, which is also from season 1, so around the same time. Lois's height, which is listed for some reason, is 5'7". The height of the average door is 6'8", which checks out with Lois's height. It confirms it. I feel like there is more I could do with this information, but I don't know. So I'm gonna take the easier way and just do more math. If you look at the baseballs that are on the wall, you can see that there are like 5 of them in a row. The average baseball has a diameter of 2.94 inches. Using the snipping tool, we can judge that Dewey is around 15 baseballs. This means he's about 45 inches or 3 feet and 9 inches.
I don't know if this is the most, like, realistic way of measuring it, but I mean, it's not really that accurate, but I mean, it works.
According to Google, the average 7-year-old height is 4 feet. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but Dewey isn't 4 feet. He's actually a couple inches shorter than that, so your math might be wrong. If you look at this episode, I don't know if I'm going to be able to find a clip of it because it was a pretty random episode and I saw it pretty recently. It is stated in Malcolm in the Middle that Dewey is the shortest in his class, and this is all because, well, he has to share a bed. And that, I guess, shrunk him. I don't really know the science behind that. I don't think sharing a bed makes you shrink. So I think it's pretty safe to say Dewey is approximately 3'9". Dewey looks to be close to 1 finish line square. If you look at this clip, he is about 1 finish line square, top to bottom. This means that each square is about 45 inches, right? He runs over 2 squares in 2 seconds, which means his speed is 2.556818 miles per
Wow, Dewey got this in the bag. You know, he's already the fastest, the strongest, not the smartest, but I mean, that don't really matter.
hour. Again, I keep saying per miles per hour. This officially makes him the fastest, with Brick being second and Sheldon being last. Durability. In the episode of Malcolm in the Middle, when Dewey gets beat up by Randy, we can see him bloodied and bruised, and, you know, he smiles. There's no signs of tears, no signs of sadness. He doesn't even say, like, ow, really. He says, quote, "It's so great to have this over with," which I think that's pretty tough. I mean, if I got beat up by, like, if you look at Randy's height in the show, he's like 7 foot. That's gotta hurt a lot. In season 1 of Young Sheldon, Sheldon gets a splinter in his finger. His sister attempts to dig it out with a needle, but Sheldon pulls away last second because he's too much of a wimp. Eventually, his sister uses tweezers. He winces and looks like he's about to cry. This is definitely a step down from Dewey, but I mean, I don't blame him. I don't like splinters either. In the pilot episode of The Middle, Brick's mom hits him with a beer bottle on accident. He responds by saying ow. Afterwards, he kind of just shrugs it off. I mean, I would say his reaction to this puts him kind of in the middle of Sheldon and Dewey. I mean, the beer bottle didn't cause that much pain, but then again, I feel like if Sheldon got hit with that, he would be, like, freaking out. So I'm gonna just put him in the middle. Get it? The middle. The last category is Riz. In season 2, episode 6.
Okay, I don't think Riz is going to affect if they can beat each other physically. I don't think that's really changing anything, but I mean, I guess we can still see.
Malcolm in the Middle. Dewey and his brothers get a new babysitter. Reese and Malcolm try to fight over her. Meanwhile, they're outsmarted by Dewey. Dewey ends up sleeping with the babysitter, not in a weird way, like in the bed, and cheering her up with the Dewey dance. Brick, on the other hand, has had multiple girlfriends throughout his show. Dewey hasn't had any girlfriends in his show. Some examples of these are Cindy, Lila, and his online girlfriend. These are way more than Dewey had. However, Dewey is better than Sheldon because, well, in Young Sheldon, he has 0 love interest or girlfriends ever. At one point, he platonically kisses Paige, a fellow child prodigy, but it's strictly for science. For science. He does not meet his first girlfriend until season 3 of The Big Bang Theory when he's 24 years old. I think it's safe to say that Brick has demolished this category. Based on all of the research I have just done, we can say that strength goes to Dewey, IQ goes to the child prodigy, Mr. Young Sheldon himself. I would say talent goes to Dewey as well, as you know, he writes many songs, he's an amazing singer, builds his own piano, and has perfect pitch. Speed, very hard thing to calculate. However, if Dewey, Brick, and Sheldon got into a race, Dewey would definitely win. Brick would come closely second, and Sheldon would probably be dead last.
Yeah, Dewey wins the fight. You know, if they started fighting, they started throwing down, Dewey's winning. They have no chance against him.
Not even finish. The durability of these kids can show that Dewey can take heavy hits. Brick is slightly phased by small damages, and you know, Sheldon freaks out over slight pain. Even the idea of pain. This category goes to Dewey. Taking into consideration the amount of love interest in the show, Brick comes out at top for Riz. Brick is the Rizzler. Dewey is second for the babysitter episode, and Sheldon is last for obvious reasons. Thanks to all of this research I have just done, I think it is safe to say that Dewey is the superior character, and in a free-for-all death match between Dewey, Brick, and Mr. Young Sheldon, Dewey would win. If you enjoyed this video,
Dewey's the MVP.
subscribe.
They had no shot against it. But that was a good video. But now we get on to the next video.